Peter Rentschler joins me. He is the CEO of CarrierDirect, based out of Chicago, but you've actually been in Chattanooga for the past few weeks, a little muggier and hotter here than probably in the Chicago area. What have you been doing with your time here while at FreightWaves?
So it's great. I mean, I love Chattanooga. Outside of Chicago, there's really nowhere else where you can get such a dense concentration of freight companies. I'm doing a triathlon in a week, so I rented a bike and I've been doing some bike riding, enjoying the scenery. And then we've got a number of customers and clients down here. So we've been working with some of the folks, some of the transportation companies in Chattanooga. Specifically to our time with FreightWaves, we've been working on a partnership around helping with SONAR adoption. Around, our belief is that it's a great product. The data is literally industry changing, and what's happening is companies are buying a few seats or they're buying an enterprise license. The ones that have full IT resources and data scientists are taking full advantage of integrating the data into their rating engines. But some of the other less mature organizations are really finding that there's one pricing person that learns how to use it, and the rest of the floor doesn't get the full benefits of the product. And so what we've been working on is a partnership to help with adoption, come in, assess how a business is using it, and give some recommendations on how they could be getting more value out of the SONAR product.
Yeah, you're basically saying companies say, yeah, we love this, but we only have a few guys who actually know how to utilize this. What are ways that companies who have SONAR, or companies that are looking into SONAR, could implement it better and kind of make it a part of their daily workflow?
There are three specific areas that we're focusing on. Part one is that really it should be a part of new hire orientation from day one. Most robust businesses these days have a 1 to 6 week training program where they learn the systems that they use, and they also learn how to structure their day. One thing that businesses can do, or that SONAR users and customers can do, is make SONAR a part of that new hire orientation, where you integrate it into training. There's an hour focused on training it, and when you're training new sales reps, hey, come in, check your emails, call your prospects, etc. There should be a portion of that is see what's going on in the freight market. You wouldn't have a new stockbroker and tell them not to check the Bloomberg terminal, in the same way that you shouldn't have someone who's making pricing decisions on a day-to-day basis, a shipper sales rep or a carrier sales rep broker, not seeing what's going on in the market with live data.
Why was CarrierDirect started? And going off that, what kind of enticed you about FreightWaves and wanting to work with FreightWaves?
CarrierDirect has been around since 2011. We're a consulting firm entirely focused on transportation. We have kind of two components of the business that really we offer in an integrated service. So we have typical business management consulting, helping with things like org structure, process, training, recruiting, compensation, and then we have technology services where we help with technology strategy, we build custom software, help with things like TMS assessments. And what we do is, my background, I actually came out of college, started my career at Accenture, which used to be Anderson Consulting, doing strategy consulting. And what I learned there is that there's really no such thing as business strategy that doesn't have a technology strategy, and likewise, technology decisions shouldn't be made without considering the business impact. And so, I saw that there. I had a lot of friends working at freight brokerages in Chicago, learned about the industry, was introduced to CarrierDirect, and really saw an opportunity in this kind of antiquated space to bring this new mindset. And so part of the reason why I left Accenture and joined CarrierDirect is because I got tired of building beautiful strategy decks and not having them go anywhere. So what we do is we really want to have an integrated service of business and technology strategy, but then we also want to help with the execution. I mean, I've brokered freight with my clients. I've been on the floor calling carriers, trying to recover lost loads, and there are a number of folks on the team that all have done the same. And so, what brings us to FreightWaves specifically is just like, you guys are a powerhouse in the industry from a content perspective. We love the companies that are trying to drive change and change the way that the future of transportation is really going to operate. Our mission is to help transform transportation. We want to help other people do that. That's something that I think really resonates. It's why I've been able to build such a great relationship with Craig and so much of the leadership at FreightWaves, is because like both of these companies we're kind of independent, where we don't have skin in the game.
Yeah.
We're not a competitor, but like we're just here to help people in the space. And I think that FreightWaves is trying to do that by driving visibility, bringing real data, and giving actionable insights to support that.
I like it. And you mentioned about being on the floor, calling truckers, seeing where those loads are, doing the broker side, and you actually helped John Paul Hampstead on our staff on FreightWaves.com write a story when freight brokerage revenues plateau and what to do about it. Was that your first time kind of helping out on a story?
I'd given some directional input on some other ones, but it was really the first one that we wrote together.
What was this about?
What we've seen in the years that we've been consulting, when we've worked with brokerages from $10 million all the way up to the multi-billion-dollar name brands that everyone knows, and what we've seen is that particularly in the mid-market, there are two plateaus that people hit. Around 50 million in revenue and 150 million in revenue, and kind of the thematic challenges, whether process and comp and training, they tend to be the same at those different plateaus, but what you need to do at the different plateaus changes. At a $50 million freight brokerage, what tends to happen is you've got someone who started a business. They've been so heads down focused on growing the business and bringing in the right people and serving their customers that all of a sudden they look up and holy smokes, I've got 50 people around me and I don't really know what the strategy for my business is. And so the challenges there and really the things to be done are focus on building a training and a proper recruiting and training program. A lot of those small brokerages grow by hiring friends of the industry. They hire experienced sales reps, so they don't need a full, robust training program. You look at the hyper-growth brokerages, the Coyotes, the Blue Graces, Worldwide Express, they've all invested really heavily in a targeted profile from a recruiting perspective, a training program to help those new people be successful, and then processes and tools. And that's something that really makes a difference at that $50 million mark.
Yeah, it's definitely a good read if you guys want to see the full article that is on FreightWaves.com. Well, hopefully you got a little bit of training for your triathlon in beautiful Chattanooga, like you said, you had the bike. Thank you for joining us, Peter. And of course, like I said, that full article, FreightWaves.com.